around, one and all, as we celebrate the magic of women in cinema at our Film Coven. We're your hosts, Kelli Mehan
and Melissa Woody, and today we're going to be talking about Encanto and The Farewell.
When we started discussing the topics and what we were going to do, both you and I were like, I've got my one for this one, like instantly. And we're like, 3, 2, 1, say your one, and you're like, The Farewell. And I'm like, Encanto. Perfect. Like, it really, I love when things sync up like that. Mel, why was The Farewell your first thought?
I remember how powerful of a feeling I left with the movie, and I just loved this familial story that isn't something that I've really seen on screen before. It really stuck out to me, when we were coming up with these topics. I was just instantly it was I want to talk about this movie. It's female directed, it's powerful, it's emotional, we'll get into it. It's one of those movies that even when we came up with the concept of this show, it was one that I always had in the back of my mind. And so once you said family, I was like, okay.
This is the moment, take it.
Yes. Yeah. How about you with Encanto? What was your reasoning behind it?
Encanto is a movie that I was not expecting to feel so strongly about. I did not watch it in the cinema. I watched it when it dropped on Disney+. But it is my most rewatched movie in the last couple of years, by far and away. And it's crept into my Disney top 10. It's pushed out classics out of the top 10.
Wow.
I just really love the family. I love the character of Mirabel. And it's really funny because usually I will relate to the characters that are very similar to me. And I'm nothing like Mirabel, but she is one of my favorite Disney characters. And I just love her spirit and the love for family and sort of everything she stands for. And I've had the chance to talk about it on my podcast, Doing Disney. It's one of my favorite episodes. It's one of the most listened to episodes with Brittany. She's an amazing guest. And I've just, any opportunity to talk about this film and keep dissecting it and going back to it, I was really excited for. And a Disney movie that is so family forward, which when we talked about Turning Red, that's what we've been getting lately, is a lot of these family-based movies as opposed to romance-based movies. So, Encanto was I just want to talk about it. At any given point, I want to talk about Encanto.
And it's so funny because both of these stories are multi-generational, and they have a very, grandma presence in both of these movies.
When we both said that, I was like, yes, we are channeling the same thing right here. And so culture-based as well, which is amazing to see. And it is that sort of push. When I think of late 2010s, early 2020s movies, it's a big push for seeing diversity in different cultures on screen that we've not always got to see. So, it used to be, this is the one, and you went and saw it. But now there's just so much more choice and option and different voices, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
And I hope they keep them coming.
Absolutely. So let's talk about The Farewell first. Mel, who was our family? Give us the rundown.
So the Farewell stars Awkwafina as Billy, and she is our main protagonist, and she is a Chinese American, and I feel like that's a huge part of this movie, is that identity of both Chinese and American and what that means to her. And we learn that her grandma, known as Nai Nai, is unfortunately ill, and she only has a few months to live. And it's a part of the culture to not tell Nai Nai that she's sick or how sick she is. And that kind of starts off just that conflict within Billy and within the family itself too, just what that means, lying. And it definitely, the concept of lying is heavily used throughout, in small ways and in big ways, and very much poses this question of what is a good lie, what is a bad lie, what does it mean to lie?
Absolutely. And I guess that all really kicks off with that scene where Awkwafina Billy walks into her parents' room and they're upset. It's why aren't you telling me what's wrong? I think that's a common child to parent problem, is when parents are hiding away something serious is going on, and as a child you can pick up on it even if they don't divulge that information. Being an adult And then still having that power dynamic, I think, is difficult as well, because you are still the child, but you're not a child. So she should be able to be involved in that decision making. I did write down, I really liked the quote the mum said, it's not the cancer that kills them, it's the fear.
It's not the cancer that kills them, it's the fear.
I thought that was really a powerful way of putting out what is sort of the thesis of the whole movie, of the why. Because as you sort of said, Billy's so conflicted and can't understand, because like, doesn't she have things to do? Wouldn't she want to say goodbye? But that cultural thought, and it gets later on, the uncle really breaks down what's individual and collectivist culture, which I thought was awesome. But yeah, when the mum said it's the cancer that kills people, I was like, oh, that it rang true to what I've sort of seen, babe. What did you sort of think about that scene?
Absolutely, that's definitely one of the standout scenes, and a lot of the cinematography decisions in this movie, because like when they're having that conversation, just the way that the blocking and the framing is with the parents and Awkwafina, it's fantastic. Something about this movie that I absolutely love is the balance of these really heartfelt, like human moments, but then it does have this humor kind of throughout too. That's kind of I feel like the rhythm it kind of goes through. It's like funny, lighthearted, okay, and then punch. Let me just get you in the stomach with something really like profound.
Yeah. Encanto, if you haven't seen it, takes place in South America, and it focuses on the Madrigal family. And what it is that Abuela's suffered this trauma where Abuelo Pedro has been tragically murdered. And we'll talk about that scene later, because it's one of the ultimates and it's one of the best Disney scenes in my opinion. But through that grief and tragedy was born the miracle of this casita and this family that basically has superpowers. It's kind of low-key a superhero movie.
It's like low-key the X-Men.
Very that. Abuela's house for gifted mutants. Like, yes. And the focus is on Mirabel. And it's pretty cool that it starts off better than I could ever describe the family, is that we get a whole song called The Family Madrigal. It's basically the family roll call. And what is so clear from the get-go is how proud and loving and supportive and caring Mirabel is about the rest of her family. Just the way she describes everyone and really breaks down sort of the joy about what it's like being a Madrigal and in the family. Cousin Dolores can hear a pin drop. Pepper's mood affects the weather. My mum, Julieta and Augustine, and they even talk about like how they married into the family and took the Madrigal name, which I thought was really cool. And just sort of really never talks down or feels jealous of her other family members. Is just there and is like, well, my superpower is that I get to be part of the family and I'm special in my own way. And I think that's my key love of the Mirabel character, is that it's not a journey of self-discovery. It's not a journey of change. It's that she's had that from the beginning, but it's a journey of belief in a sense, and really truly believing of who you are on the inside and really feeling okay to let that shine. Because, yeah, there's that sort of jealousy is too strong a word, and maybe like a little bit of envy, and we see it in Waiting on a Miracle. She's like, I've been patient and steadfast and steady. Bless me now as you've blessed us those years ago. So I can understand that part of it, but it really does come back into that she is enough and she's always been enough, but doesn't get that recognition maybe from the outside, like is pushed away and pushed to the side, primarily from Abuela.
I think something that is just a standout, and I'm sure we'll talk about it throughout, is just the animation in this movie is some of Disney's best. Like, truly, just like the way that they're able to use color and like shadow and light and the expressions they're able to do with all the different characters. Like, I just think that is such a highlight of the movie. Truly, I think the animation is incredible. But yeah, no, I'm right there with you with Mirabel. Like, she's not necessarily a character I relate to her, but like I don't in some ways too. I don't know, it's like a mixed bag a little bit, but like I just love her. I think she is just ultimately, like you said, I think she is always true to herself, and I think it is more that discovery of like the family realizing how wonderful she is, because she is wonderful from the start and obviously through the finish of the movie. And yeah, it's more like the people around her having that discovery or journey of like, Maribel is awesome and you guys are missing out.
Well, if that isn't just like shoved in your face, basically Mirabel is the only Madrigal to not have a special gift. When she touched the door fluttered away, and the candle, the butterfly imagery and the candle imagery used throughout the film, I really enjoy. Like, just, and it ties into the songs as well, but just this flame of hope and burning, and the fact that Mirabel's affected it. And we find out later that Bruno has seen a vision of Mirabel affecting the magic, and it turns everyone away from her, and being so close to her grandma figure, and then having her turn her back on her and focus on everyone else. And that's really the impetus for Abuela doubling down and making sure that everyone works to protect the magic and to protect the Encanto, as opposed to protecting her family now. And that comes through really strongly.
Completely agree. And I think that kind of speaks to a little bit of like image. So like, you know, like the house is more something like that's exterior, and it's like the Abuela's way more concerned with like the exterior, like how we look as a family, the image, versus what, you know, what's actually inside, which is the family, the heart, the soul, is what's way more important. But she gets there.
Summarized beautifully. And we definitely know that because she's pushing Isabella to marry Mariano. And she uses words like a new perfect family, a new generation of madrigals. And so, yeah, you can tell it's not, she doesn't have Isabella's best intentions at heart. She just wants this gift that she's had to be passed. So whether those good intentions are there originally or not, it's just, I think they've just been warped. And that's what makes Abuela a great, not villain, possibly to me, but that's trauma issues. Because, does this movie bring up stuff? She is the antagonist of the film, and she does have some really harsh words from Mirabel in the crux of it. Babe, what is our impetus for change in the farewell?
We find out about Nai-Nai's diagnosis, and that, you know, she only has 3 months to live, and so the family has come up with this charade of, we're going to have a fake wedding to get everyone together for the first time in 25 years, which is kind of insane that it's been that long for this family to get together to go see Nai-Nai, under the pretense that like, oh, we're here for the wedding, but really they're there to say their goodbyes, their farewell to Nai-Nai. And something I wanted to mention that kind of through looking up some things about the farewell that I thought was interesting is the Chinese translation of the farewell is "don't tell her." And I love that it's like overlapped at the beginning, like it has the Chinese lettering and then the farewell. So it's just, I love that, again, that combination of like the Chinese and the American mixing, even in the title.
Yeah, and like we have that throughout all the film as well, like the differences in language really plays to it. And I want to pick up where you said about how it's been like 25 years since we've seen everyone. What felt really another part of just seeing someone's life story on film is the immigrant side of it all. So not only the family is Chinese based, but one half of the family goes to Japan, which is where the cousin is bringing the girl from who doesn't speak the language, and is just sort of sitting there going, what is going on for the whole movie?
And it's so great.
But Billy's family immigrated to America and would only go back every so often. And the love that they still show each other and have for each other, even though they've been separated by distance this time, I think that rings really true for a lot of families.
Absolutely. I think sometimes you can't deny just the closeness that you might have with certain family members, even if you have that distance apart. Sometimes you just have that connection, and Nai-Nai and Billy absolutely have that. And it's so sweet to see.
Yeah, I think about some cultural moments I really loved from the film was that she sees Nai-Nai and straight away it's the comment on the weight. Like,
yes.
I find that very true and that very funny. But just as you sort of said, the love that Nine has for Billy and that instinct is like picking up where you left off, and just it's so funny that we've seen these two movies and in some way they're really similar, in some way they're polar opposites, because we've just talked about how those families are really separated and come together, whereas the Madrigals are almost too connected and all in the one house and you don't leave and aren't allowed to be themselves. And then on the other hand, you have Abuela and Billy who have a really warm and loving and touching relationship. And then you have Mirabel and Abuela who are really at odds, and Mirabel just wants to please Abuela all the time. And honestly, babe, the words that Abuela uses to Mirabel upset me so much. It's like, Mirabel, stop hurting our friends. Maybe you should just go do something else. When Mirabel's trying to put like the candles in front of everyone's door, and yes, an accident happens, but it's just like, stop hurting us, like, please go away, like, just brushes her away. Oh, it hurts my soul.
Definitely some of the words she says, I'm right there with you, are harsh.
Whereas then we look at Billy and Nine, and one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie is where Nine's doing her exercises. Is that what you're thinking? Push out the toxins. I love it. It's like doing your thing that like gears you up to do stuff. Like if you've watched Ted Lasso, it reminds me very much of when the characters do those sorts of things. But yeah, just like, this is what's kept me going, is pushing out all the negative toxins. I'm like, go off, no, that's great.
Yeah, and I love like the term of endearment that she calls Billy with stupid child. Like she calls her that like throughout the entire movie, but it's like it comes from such a place of like playfulness and like love to her, like, oh, you stupid child, and then like always she's like, I want to squeeze your butt.
And she does have that sense, as opposed to Abuela, who's so harsh and so controlling. Yeah. So yes, it's nice to it's good to see the difference of representation and that grandma granddaughter relationship coming through on screen.
I feel like there's nothing like food. Like food is the ultimate like love language for me. So like if you want to love me, just feed me. And that's what my husband does.
I said that to Alan, I'm like, don't bring me a bouquet of flowers, bring me a bouquet of chicken nugs. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. but we get some great scenes in the fair. We get a little bit in Encanto. Honestly, like I wanted a little bit more in Encanto, like up some food scenes. But we get some great, like big, elaborate, like family meals in the farewells. Yeah. And all the food just looked so good.
I really love that you honed in on this, because this is like the majority of my notes is showing your love of family through food. And there's this great picture book by Peter Reynolds called Our Table. And it talks about sort of in modern days how not everyone was coming to the table to eat dinner and gather around anymore and be a family. And so the table was shrinking. And it's about building that back up and bringing everyone together to sit and eat. And I feel like that's something that this movie shows really well, is that banquet style. I love me a lazy Susan when that shit's spinning around or like the dishes going around. I love banquet style food. But it's families coming together and eat and chat and discuss. And it's about spending that time together. So there are so many food scenes. I also think of the one where they go to the cemetery to visit the grandpa. And what do? Yeah. We get there and we eat and we share our love and eating together, and eating is a sign of being healthy and eat more. I love when grandmas tell you to eat more. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
And we sort of do see similar in Encanto. I agree, I could have had more. But the fact that Mirabel's mum heals people through food with like one arepa, she can heal you. She marries Augustine, who's so accident prone, and I just love that. We talk about great dads on this channel a lot. Augustine is a fantastic dad. Love him.
Yeah.
The fact that, the mum heals with food, and we do get these table scenes because the day after Antonio getting his gift, they're all seated at one big long table, and that's when Abuela's saying, we're going to have Mariano and his family come over and have dinner. Mirabel is sitting down the end and talking, and Abuela summons her to her end of the table. Very much like I see in schools, like when your teacher moves you to the front of the class because you're talking. And I think that's that dynamic. It's not a familial love dynamic coming from Abuela. It's a subject, it's a ward sort of feeling, as opposed to really taking into account Mirabel's feelings and what she's doing. And then, of course, of course, we don't talk about Bruno, where we have dancing around the dinner table. Okay, please put in the choreography that they taped, and it was during COVID. There's behind the scenes choreography.
Okay.
And the way, right here, and I'm going to be talking over it right now as you're watching it. I've watched this so many times on YouTube. The way the dancers move through, because we don't talk about Bruno. Instant classic song. Oh my God, Lin-Manuel Miranda. What you do to me when you do things like when you string words together, because you did it in Moana with your welcome, and you go, well, come to think of it. And in this one, we don't talk about Bruno, no. Oh my God, that is the musical feeling for me. I love it. But the dancing, and they show you how they choreographed this full dance sequence too. We don't talk about Bruno, and them dancing around the table, setting up, and time for dinner, and this dinner being an important scene, like the build up to this dinner scene. Sorry, I am getting fiery. It is happening. And I'm watching the scene with Mom. And just the way they dance, and I love the way they just like flick the skirts. It's just got that Latin American feel to it. I enjoy it so much. But we have this big important dinner scene of Mariano proposing to Isabella, and Mirabel seeing the vision, and her singing, the comedy timing of her singing across from Dolores, who has found out that Mirabel knows that Bruno's had a vision about her, and the eye contact this, and then something passes in front of her face, and I love that, showing just the family reacting to each other and everyone having a go at it. The scene I actually wanted to say.
No, don't be sorry, because I love it.
About the dinner is the fact that when we meet Bruno, and he's been hiding behind the walls, repairing all the cracks. So I love that you talk about what's on the outside versus what's happening on the inside, because Bruno's been loving and protecting the family for 10 years. By himself. Well, actually, sorry, it's not Bruno that is preparing it. It's Jorge and Ernesto who does the spackling. The saddest scene is when Mirabel looks and he's set up his own dinner plate to be eating with the family, but not with the family.
She puts her hand, oh my God, devastated.
So yes, I totally agree. Food and eating, it's the time where we come together, you know, and it's really important, and it shows that family bond and that family love.
Just to talk about Bruno for a second, because we are going to talk about Bruno. I actually find him to be one of the most relatable characters in the movie, just because I think something that both movies share is like this feeling of like otherness, and that's just I think we've talked about it on the show before too. I think that's always something I'm gonna connect to, is like kind of feeling othered. Bruno is like the epitome of that. Like you said, he's like living in the walls of this house, but it's because they don't accept of his gift. And I think that I don't know, I feel like that's commentary a little bit of like, you know, beliefs or talents or whatever. And like, you know, even if somebody doesn't have maybe what you perceive as like good, or, you know, insert adjective here, like that doesn't mean it's bad and like should be like shoved away. Like I think everyone has talents and ways that they show up in the world, and like all of that should be like appreciated and should shine.
I know it definitely made me think of my family and sort of like the concept of being a black sheep, and being shunned almost a little bit, being ostracized. It definitely was bringing up feelings of that for me. I think Bruno is, as you sort of said, even if it's not relatable to yourself, you know the character arc and feeling that they're trying to portray to you with that one, like the lost family member. And that's why it's so warming at the end when he comes back into the fold, and when the two, because they're triplets, so when the two sisters like pull him into a hug, like how much that must be hurting all those years of being separated from one another. Reconnection of family for both movies is such an important overtone. In the farewell, you talked about like the balance of light and humor. So this wedding's going, and they're really saying it's for Nai, because she's getting her kicks bossing people around, ordering like the banquet hall, negotiating the price down. And so you see all the family coming around together and supporting her. And then they're not staying in her house, they're staying in a hotel. And that stark contrast of when they walk back to the hotel exhausted. Really, I was like, wow, like what a good way to show that. Were there any sort of wedding prep or wedding scenes that you really liked?
I love when Nai insists that she ordered the lobster, not the crab. And she's just like, really like gun-ho about it. And I just, I love her persistence to it. I mean, it ends up being crab, I believe, later on. But like she really fights for it and is just like just persistent that's what she ordered. So I do love that. And then I love, again, it's these moments of like lightheartedness, but then it's just like a gut punch where Nai is walking up the stairs and like is getting really tired, or even I think at the banquet too, when they're having that conversation, she kind of gets like short of breath, or like she's getting tired. She's like, oh, it's okay, you know, it's this cough that's been lingering, or like, oh, I gotta keep going, Billy, like that's why I'm in such good shape, like I gotta keep it moving. It's just like, it's like these little comments for, you know, as the audience we know the truth of like what's going on, but like she does it, and it's just like over and over and over again. And then like another scene getting ready for the wedding, Nai says something to the effect of like, you know, I can't wait until you get married to Billy. And it's just like, oh my God, like it's just soul crushing.
Let's keep going with the gut punch though, because both of these movies have like third act major breakdowns. Let's hit the trauma in the farewell. I like how you sort of said about how like you've got like granddaughter to grandma. The layer in the middle, I'm thinking of like a family tree. The layer in the middle with the dad and the brother, the way that they start cracking throughout the movie and start breaking down, it's really, really devastating. So you see the dad like using coping techniques like smoking, really having a lot of drinks, and same with the uncle. And they have this talk. Billy still can't quite understand because she's been predominantly raised in America about how we're lying to Nai and shouldn't she know, and trying not to crack. And they talk about, in Chinese culture, you know, it's not individualistic like Western society where everyone is a little bit out for themselves, or even like family units aren't connected in that way. Whereas in China, he says that it's everyone's job to look after each other. And so it's our job to carry the emotional burden so she doesn't have to. The same way she carried us, it's our time to carry her. Oh, babe.
Oh my gosh.
Comments on the scene, please.
Try not to cry.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is gonna be the episode.
Yeah.
That was beautifully said. It's how we experience the movie too. Like, Nai is all like lighthearted and smiling, and you know, she's just having a great old time, and everyone else is kind of making these
carrying the weight. Yeah,
carrying the weight. Like, we see that
the wedding's going off, and it's time for speeches, and the uncle absolutely breaks down on stage about, and I talked about it earlier, how immigrant families, that separation. And yes, you're doing it to find a better life and a better future and prosper, but it means leaving people behind, and it means time isn't being spent with those people. And so he is feeling these moments of regret and guilt. I think guilt's playing a real big part throughout this movie, guilt of not being there all the time for Nai. And I can just I understand that would be the story for a lot of families, that yes, you've had these amazing reasons to move, but it's sacrifice. It's about sacrifice. And then we see it with the cousin as well, who he gets so hammered, can't spit his words out, and is just devastated. And we haven't really seen him speak at all, but he breaks down and wails and cries, and it's heartbreaking to see. Mel, what do you think about this wedding?
Oh man, it's a disaster, but like in the best way. Like, everyone gets smashed.
Yeah, the drinking games, I love that.
Yeah, like they are like, all right, it's going down. We're gonna drink our sorrows away. Like, that's how we're coping today. especially the uncle character at the beginning is very much like trying to instill into Billy, like, don't tell Nai. But I feel like that whole conversation between them is very much, he's just kind of reminding himself like that he needs to keep up with the lie. And then cut to his emotional speech of him just like breaking down, talking about how much he loves his mom, and it's just, oh my gosh. That scene definitely gets me choked up every single time. It's just so funny that they like were able to get away with it with this like sham wedding. Like you said, like the couple that's like getting married is so awkward and like.
And they've been together like 6 months or something, isn't it? And they just got no idea what's going on.
To talk about a scene a little bit before that I just remembered, when they're like taking the photo shoot scene, and then Nai and Billy are having like these really cute, like heartfelt, like conversations, and in the background they're taking all like these elaborate like photos, and it's so awkward. And Nai's like, "Come on, like
look like you're in love." Yeah.
你说这姑娘也不知咋回事儿，你说就不能做出像一对小夫妻那样吗？
And I'm just like, oh, that's so great.
One scene I really liked about the wedding is, and I think this is so true as a kid, when you find out your family history that you knew none of these stories. So Nai was like in the army. She was like having flings with men, like all the other men that are talking around. And when you get together and you get to share those family stories, and Billy's face on it all, like I know I've had that moment where you're like, what? This family member's done this? Like, they had this amazing life before I was even born? Because you only maybe know them as your grandma. You don't think that she's had this full life before and had all these worldly experiences. So I love that they got to share that.
I think that's the power of like grandparents. Like they really give us this perspective I feel like it widens our perspective in the world and like your family history. So yeah, like I love that for Nai.
Let's hit the opposite end of the spectrum of good memories about grandparents to horrific intergenerational trauma memories with grandparents in Encanto. Basically, the whole movie we've been leading up that Mirabel's trying to save the magic. It's been faltering. And you said something really interesting at the start about how like the movie's about family finding out how amazing Mirabel is, because she is amazing. And they take that family photo where they don't even know she's not in the picture. Yeah. Devastating. Gut punch.
That is insane. Just insane behavior. Anyway.
And it's them all showing off all their stuff, and it's like, okay, here we go. But it's also Mirabel's journey to really understand her family members, because she doesn't know these things about Louisa, and it's her being her power is empathy. Like, I swear to God, her power is being empathetic and compassionate, as well as being the next matriarch of the family. I totally believe that fan theory. But I love the songs. I like the songs in Encanto. I know they got bashed for being like pretty subpar. I think the soundtrack goes off. I love them. All of them.
Oh, same. No, yes. I love the songs.
Well, Luisa's song is Surface Pressure, and that pressure like drip, drip, drip. And the fact, the imagery they use with the house crushing her, amazing. With the doors falling over. And Mirabel's face, when halfway through both songs with the sisters, her face changes dramatically, and it's like she sees who they really are for the first time and sees what they're going through, because she's just got this opinion that, you know, they've got a gift and their life is peachy. But she doesn't see the pressure that both of them are under for different reasons. Luisa has to be really strong all the time. And I had someone who's an older sister say, I related to that so much, of needing to give it to your sister's stronger, see if she can hang on a little longer. Like, they really felt that, of trying to protect the family. Babe, you're nodding effusively, so yes?
Yes. Yeah, I realized we haven't even talked about Louisa. She's absolutely my favorite character because I relate to her so much. And yeah, this is definitely I don't know like the order of my favorite songs, but like this is definitely one of them. I think Surface Pressure is fantastic. Like, I love what it's saying in the lyrics, and like you were saying, just the imagery they use, like, is so fun, and like it works so well with the song.
Do you know when I got so excited for this character? Because we've seen her be strong and lift things up. When the song starts, it's like, I'm strong, I'm not nervous, blah, blah, blah. But then she goes, and I glow because I know what my worth is, while showing off her muscles. I just can't remember ever seeing strong women portrayed like that. You know what I mean? Like, without like that being the only thing, but but them being so proud of it and actually having the body shape to match it all. Because we talked about Wonder Woman. She's a very strong, but she's a very lean character. Whereas like Louisa is like really well defined, and it's awesome to see that diversity. And that she's proud of it. She glows because she knows who she is and what her worth is and who she is as a person. It's awesome.
Yes, I agree. Yes. And I love that she's also very feminine and girly, but she also is strong and athletic. Like,
it doesn't have to be either or.
No, it could be both. It could be a mix. It's fantastic. Yeah. No, I can't get enough of this character. I think it's great. And I love the conclusion of the song where Mirabel like hugs her and she's just like, you have so much on your shoulders. Like, you gotta let it go. Like, that is just such a sweet moment. Like, I get a little emotional. I know it's like maybe kind of like a cutesy scene, like, you know, she squeezes her too hard and her eye like kind of gets big, but like, I don't know, I find it very, very genuine and sweet between the two of them.
Then we contrast that with the scene with Isabella, and so Isabella and Mirabel have been facing off the whole movie, and we don't talk about Bruno. Isabella comes down with the flowers and has her like her Satine, her diva moment. Satine coming down reminded me of something and I could not put my finger on it. It's this! Well, this reminds me of Satine, I guess, but coming down on the perch, like having a moment, having a show-stealing moment. Put the freeze frame in, Mirabel just goes, ugh. And it's so funny to me. It's just they've got the typical sister-sibling rivalry, I think. To save the magic, Mirabel and Isabella need to make up, come to terms, and their song What Else Can I Do wasn't my favourite at first. I've come around on it. It's never going to be my favourite, but at first I was like, oh, that's a bit meh. And I'm like, no, I really enjoy this because it's that sort of self-discovery moment. It's let it go in a sense. It's like, I don't want to be this I make perfect practice poses, but I can be so much more than that. And what can I do if I'm truly in the moment? And Mirabel coaxing and urging on her family members to be who they are and being in support, I think is such her superpower, and it's awesome to see.
I love the song. This is actually one of my favorites, personally. I love the imagery of the cactus because I think, again, she has this image of like, I make beautiful flowers and I'm beautiful and perfect and la-di-da-di-da. No, she more identifies with the cactus because she's a little prickly. She's a little like sassy. And I think she's starting to realize that's more who she is, which cactuses are beautiful as well. Like, I'm not saying that they're not. And yeah, they have like a little flower on there, but I think it's just showing she's a little bit more multi-dimensional. She's not just a pretty little flower. Like, she is a little prickly.
Yeah, and what she wants to see be done as opposed to what she thinks is best for the community, because all the community loves all these like topiaries and things that she can make, but like I did this, like I think that's so cute. And the multicolored dress, we talk about costumes, but like the fact that all the different colors get on her dress and it's that breakdown, and they do the sister thing where like they sing into the flowers, and I'm like, just those little touches is some of the reasons I love Encanto, because it does feel like your family members. It doesn't feel too one-dimensional characters. I need to get my notes because I need to do it justice. Abuela comes in and squashes the fun that Mirabel and Isabella are having. And she comes in and says, you have to stop, Mirabel. It started with you. Bruno left because of you. Luisa's power is dwindling and Isabella is out of control. It's not an excuse for you to hurt this family. And props to Mirabel. She has had enough of this and turns around and says, I will never be good enough for you. None of us will ever be good enough for you. You only saw the worst in us. Bruno loves this family. And the way Stephanie Beatrice hits these notes, we love this family. The miracle is dying because of you.
It's an intense scene. My goodness.
Thank you. Intense is the exact word for it, because I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, like this is the fight. This is the moment. It's going down. The house cracks. The Encanto goes out. Everyone's devastated and Mirabel runs off. And it's Abuela who finds her by the side. And This is what I was saying is one of the most beautiful scenes Disney has ever done. Get this flashback scene, and it's Dos Oruguitas, and it's how Abuela and Pedro met. This is the song they nominated for Best Original Song, which at the time I couldn't understand. When I read what it means, and when I went back and watched it a second time, I'm like, oh no, this is the moment. Because at first you go like, well, it should be we don't talk about Bruno, because that was the one that charted and everything.
Sure.
But this is the sentimentality and the heart of the movie about these two caterpillars finding each other, growing into, like, molding into a cocoon and bursting into a beautiful butterfly. And as I sort of said, this butterfly imagery has been used throughout about rebirth and metamorphosis and what comes from this tragedy of their village being attacked. And Abuela with these 3 babies in her arm, like, I can't imagine what it's like to be on the run with these babies and have your husband sacrifice himself for the good of the village. She falls down to the ground and cries and just absolutely hysterical, this arm reaching out. It is heartbreaking, Mel. And this song is it's just guitar. And I don't know who the singer is. I'm so sorry, the singer, put the name in. But your voice is beautiful as this song goes on. And yeah, this little melody, the do-do-do-do-do,
yes,
it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
And
it's gorgeous.
Mirabel and Abuela really being able to see each other and see what's happened and come to the same path. And they do agree that, you know, thank you for everything you've done and honoring the sacrifice. But Abuela acknowledging, maybe I've been holding on too tightly and lost sight of what really matters, which is the family and the people there.
Yeah, Dos Oruguitas is gorgeous. It's probably my favorite song, I think, of the movie. Just because, like you said, just the melody of it is so, like even if I just hear a little bit, I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
tears,
it's got
tears,
that Remember
like,
Me feel for me as well.
Yeah, like I would say this song is probably the most emotional, just the song itself. And yeah, how it's sung and the melody. And then obviously like the images that we're seeing is just like so, it's intense. It's very powerful. And yeah, I definitely think this is the scene and moment where Abuela and Mirabel are finally connecting, finally seeing eye to eye. We start the movie with Abrí los ojos, and I feel like this is the moment where we're opening our eyes between the two of them. Because I think really these two characters are actually very similar, more than different. Like, I think that's maybe why she's so hard on her. I think she sees a lot of herself. This is a younger, maybe, version of herself, because these are the two characters that are keeping the family together, or like, you know, that is their goal and mission. Because I don't believe Abuela has any gift or magic.
No,
either.
So this is the theory, and I subscribe to this theory. So Abuela's like has sort of birthed the Encanto and is the keeper of the Encanto and the candle. The reason Mirabel doesn't have a door is because she's going to pass down the house, and she will be the next Abuela who is looking after everyone and guiding everyone. So she's going to be the next Professor Xavier with no powers. This scene definitely gives me like the hot prickly tears in the corner, but I do have tears drop at the end because I think the balance is so good of we've had this really intense moment, and then to have a reprieve of everyone coming together and loving each other. That's the part I cry. And it's like tears of joy. It's like, so I've gone from tears of sad to tears of joy. Yes. I really love the family. Like I said, this last song about the reprise, it's like bringing all those musical moments we've had through the film. So it sort of starts with the family madrigal again, and what everyone's bringing to it. This is my family, a perfect constellation. Everyone gets to shine. But the realization that the stars don't shine, they burn, and the constellation shifts. So we're all going to grow and change and evolve as a family. And everyone bringing their talents together without having talents, like just them being enough to rebuild the house. When the village comes down and says, lay down your load, like you've carried us for so long, we're here to help you rebuild. Yeah, and Bruno coming back into it all the little musical moments, the sisters hugging together and planting things. Yeah, Abuela saying, I'm sorry I've held on too tight, just terrified I'd lose you too. This little ending song is saying, it makes me cry multiple times.
Completely agree. Yeah, it's like you kind of get emotional from the sadness of the playback scene of the past now we're back to the present, and it's just, yeah, it's very warm and feels good, and it's a happy cry. It's what we wanted to see, the family truly coming together, very much like symbolizing like breaking the cycle of this like trauma that's been happening in the family, you know, breaking the cycle, rebuilding. And yeah, they rebuild the house, and I think the ending is just, it's gorgeous. It's a great way to tie it all up, and it in a very Disney way, you know, happy ending, which we love to see.
Yeah. So, and they say, like, we see what you've done for us and our family, and how you've supported us, to Mirabel. And it's like, Mirabel, what do you see? I see all of me. So, yes, as you said, a beautiful wrap up. And they take a big family photo, and it's not perfect. Beautiful. Great movie.
Absolutely agree.
Babe, how do we wrap up the farewell? We've had our wedding.
Okay. Kelly?
Yes.
We talked about crying.
Here we go. Lay it on me.
I can't handle the scene where she waves away. Like, every time. Like, it's so devastating. I thought I would cry.
The fact that this is the writer's, it's writer-director, isn't it? It's her family story that's being put to screen.
Yeah.
And so she knows the touches that need to be on there to make it hit home. And the fact that you know that that's what she's going through, and it reflects a lot of us, what we've gone through when we need to say it's the final time to say goodbye to someone. You don't know if you're going to see them again. Yeah, it's very beautifully done. It's that it's whenever you have to leave someone and you have to go to the airport and get on that plane, it's hard for you as the person who's leaving, and it's hard for the person to stand there and wave the goodbyes as well. And in this case, it's really hard for Nai too, because she doesn't know that it might be the last time. I mean, let's be fair, she's at the age where she probably does understand that it could always be the last time. But the fact that she's just so grateful and loving and wants the best life for her family members, and to go off and like, don't come back and look after me, don't come back and think about me, like, you go be the best person you can be, then that's what will make me proud and make me love you, is sort of that feeling that we get of Billy and Nai at the end. So yeah, that scene mirrors probably what a lot of us have experienced. Are you okay, my love?
Yeah.
You ready to talk on it or not yet?
Almost.
Okay.
I'm ready in like 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felt a little too real there.
It did. Well,
I thought this episode might be family therapy time a little bit for Kelly and I.
Yeah.
But no, I want to talk about Lulu Wang for a moment. She went on the podcast This American Life, and she shared her story, and that's actually, from my understanding, like, that's kind of where it all started, where studios like wanted to make that into a movie because they were just so engaged with her real life story, which very much mirrors the story we see in The Farewell. It's not a biopic because, there's been some changes, but there's a lot there. Like you said, it's a very personal touch to the movie. But another personal touch that I didn't realize is Awkwafina.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
She actually was raised by her grandma, like, a good amount of her life. And so I think that very much brought that personal touch to that performance as well. I just love how Lulu Wang directed and wrote this movie, because it sounded like there was a lot of, like, studio influence of wanting to maybe do things differently or whatever, but she really stuck to what she wanted to do here. One of the things that she said in an interview that I thought was really interesting is, like, what genre is your life? Because they really wanted to make it a comedy, and that really, like, stuck with me, because it's like, yeah, like, life is obviously very complicated. It's not gonna be
fit in one little box,
comedic all the time.
I thought you were going to definitely say... What were you
thinking I was going to say?
I definitely thought you were going to say, I love when you've watched a based on a true story and they put the people's photos on the end. And so the fact that it's been like 6 years or something, and she says, we still have our Nai, I thought that was a really it's uplifting at the end because you've gone through this all and you hope that the character of Billy has had the same thing, but we know that we're not always as lucky as that. But it's nice. And wasn't that the story as well? This is how the grandma found out?
My understanding from the last thing I read, and I'll fact check myself, was that Nai had not even seen the movie.
Oh,
like the real life Nai had not even seen it.
She actually just found out, and it's very traumatic, but it's coming out in China, and the title of the movie is Don't Tell Her in Chinese. But look, it says in the newspaper, it's called Don't Tell Her. And that's why you didn't tell me, because I am the her of the Don't Tell Her. But we haven't talked about it, so.
All right.
I'll see what happens when I see her.
Babe, it's been an emotional episode. We knew that was going to happen as soon as we saw Familiar Love, because so far we've talked about infatuation and we've talked about sexual passion, but we haven't sort of discussed the joy and sadness that can be experienced when you love someone. And I think that is a real good summation of family love. It's about being with each other through the good times and the bad times. So I really enjoyed talking about these two movies today with you.
Me too. And sorry, I thought I might get emotional this episode. I lost both of my grandmas last year, so picking both two grandma movies just brought up a lot of stuff.
Very understandable. For
sure. But no, if you haven't seen either of these movies, I mean, hopefully you've seen the movie while we talk about this, but seriously, two great movies, and some final thoughts on both. I think something specifically from The Farewell that I found very profound is, sure, we have the information that Nai is not in good health and doesn't have much time to live, but I think another part of specifically Billy's character, sure, I think she's coping with the future grief of losing Nai, but I think also another part of it too is she's so attached to that Nai is a part of her culture, like she's that link to her Chinese culture, and I think that's also something she's grappling, is like, okay, I'm gonna go back to America, and like what is that gonna look like in a world without Nai? Like who am I? Like I think it's just so a part of her identity. Also with Encanto as well, like even though Maribel and Abuela, like they, butt heads for the majority of the movie, I think ultimately it's just that coming together, and that she is really grateful for her because how much they both love their family is from Abuela ultimately. And so I think, yeah, it's just, grandparents are beautiful. I miss my grandmas deeply, and yeah, I'm glad we were able to talk about it today. Sorry.
Beautifully said, my love. Well, that's going to wrap up our episode. You can find, I'll do the sign off. You can find us here, and there. And I'm going to say it for the first time. And everyone, stay magical. Doom, 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 doom.
And every hour holds the promise of an invitation to love.